Making its debut at Dusseldorf and brand new for 2024 is the Quarken 35 cabin, the new flagship of the Quarken range. It will eventually spawn a T-top version, but for now we have the cabin one to enjoy, and this is rivals the likes of the Saxdor 400 GTC, the Nimbus C11 and of course the Axopar 37 cross cabin. To this spec, as you see it at the show, it's €365,000, which seems like pretty good value to us. Shall we see what it's got to offer? I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. Before we get into it though, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll never miss another tour like this one. The 27, the original Quarken, was a very clever boat, and I think it's the same case with the 35. But we're going to start with engine options. Twin outboards on this boat, either 300 or 350 horsepower Yamahas. With the smaller ones you'll get 45 knots, with the big 350s over 50 knots. So performance, not an issue. You've got a very similar twin-stepped hull that's designed to go places comfortably in any weather. You know, it's a Finnish design boat. They're design boats to be used, and there's a very good example of that in this cockpit because it's very flexible. This is an option as a wet bar. You can have it completely clear if you prefer. You can have a bench with a big table if you want, but you have got these little tables on board that you can dot all over the boat. You can put one there, one over there. There's one at the bow at the moment, and they all stow away when you're not using them, so you can have the deck space nice and clear. There's loads of storage in this area, fender lockers on each side here, a big deep locker underneath this bench that can swallow loads of kit, and then even more storage underneath the floor here in 3 totally separate panels. If you have the wet bar option, you have the usual equipment, so grill and sink. Now, one nice feature about this wheelhouse design is that they've got this large pop-up window here. So that opens up like that, opening up the saloon to this area, and it does have an open feeling. You've got the terraces on either side, they drop down, as you can see, they're standard, and again they just give you a little extra perch. You've got the bench there, but if you want somewhere else to sit, you can put 2 people on either side very comfortably, and they have access to the table. I really like this table design, very smart addition, and there are handholds absolutely everywhere. It feels a nice safe boat to move around on, and that continues inside. More flexibility. This dinette here, the table folds up, but also you can fold it out, and then it has an electric leg, so you can drop it right down, and with the infill cushions this can become another double berth. It's opposite the galley, which has got its equipment hidden underneath this nice countertop. You can have a diesel or an electric stove on this model. You've got a sink. Again, there's a fridge in here as well, so you've got a bit of cooling space inside the boat as well as out there in the cockpit. This is a great seat. I really like these navigator seats. One person can sit here, nice handhold, a bit of storage in front of them. They can see where they're going really easily. Yes, you've got the twin helm bench, but having another forward-facing seat is really useful. And this flips between driving mode and dining mode. So if you're using the dinette to eat, you flip it that way. If you're going into driving mode, you flip it like that, and simply you've got the 2-person bench. Very easy to access, and split bolster, which I always like to see, because it means that if I want to lean but my passenger wants to sit, they can do. This also slides, the entire bench slides. If you want to get a bit closer to the dashboard, you can, and this is a really nice driving position. I like the fact you can adopt this leaning pose. Throttles are right by the wheel. You know, you're not having to stretch too far to reach the major controls from this Helm Station. And with the twin Yamahas, you also get the really good joystick system, which you can team with a bow thruster as an option if you want. It's a plain, very easy to use, glare-free helm position. Works nicely. The other thing that works nicely is the door arrangement. So you have this extra wide side door here, and then you can slide that shut. But much like the 27, you have a sliding door aft as well. So you can open this door from here, and then if you flip the table over, slide the supports in, you have another way to enter the cabin from this area of the boat. Very good for access, giving you multiple access points, and also very good for ventilation. You can open that door and you get the breeze running through here. And again, it just opens the whole area up a little bit. You've sort of got glass there. If you're sitting in that seat, you've got nice open area. works very nicely. Now, much like the smaller 27 cabin, the 35 has asymmetric decks, which means you have a narrower, higher side deck on the port side, gives you more space in the cabin here, but it also gives you a really good starboard side deck. It's sunken, nice high bulwarks, good guardrails. You feel very protected by the wheelhouse as well. And instead of giving you two slightly narrow side decks, you get one really big usable one. I suppose the only thing that would make it even better would be having a boarding gate here. So you can come out from the helm and straight out onto the pontoon without having to go down to the end of the boat. But apart from that, this side deck does make moving around this boat really, really easy. And you're going to want to come up to the foredeck because it's another really good living space. Before we talk about that, we should have a look at the roof, shouldn't we? You can see the sunroof in there. It's fixed on this boat. They're looking at including a canvas Webasto one on future models, but at the moment you've just got a fixed glass panel with a blind there. Optional lighting here. They're big fans of these in Scandinavia. Looks quite cool as well, doesn't it? And talking of looking cool, you can also have roof racks, so you could have your stand-up paddleboard or even a mountain bike mounted on the roof off the decks. Very easy to carry toys on this boat. Now, this sunbathing area is actually an option. If you don't have it, you just have the plain foredeck coach roof, but I don't see why you wouldn't want the sun pads. It creates such a nice extra living area up here where you can catch some sun. And I mentioned about having a table up here. There's a slot to put that up there too. So if you want to have some snacks and some drinks, you've got somewhere to put them. And it also has a really big anchor locker, very deep, very wide, capable of swallowing a lot of fenders, and it has a ladder so you can step off the bow as they like to do up in Finland. Very, very practical design. Let's head downstairs. Down here you have a nice big double bed, and they focus on storage again down here. It's not just on deck, and it's very easy to lift up this panel here, some powerful gas rams, and you've got a huge amount of storage down there for shoes, bags, bulky kit can be swallowed in there very, very easily. And it's a good sized bed. Okay, there isn't a huge amount of headroom over it, but the width of it is very good. And this also converts to a berth. This sofa slides down, you move the table out of the way, and you can have a relatively comfortable kids berth down here. So for a small family, if you want to be overnight for a couple of days, absolutely no problem. You've got a separate bathroom as well. There's no standing headroom in there. In fact, the standing headroom in the cabin is as so. I'm 6 foot tall, and you can see I can just about stand, stooping my head. It's not much better in there, but you have the facility if you want to use it. There you have it then. That's the Quarken 35. Let me know in the comments below whether you choose this or those rivals from Saxdor, Nimbus and Axopar that I mentioned earlier. I'd be really interested to know what you think of this one compared to those. And if you like your Quarkens, I sea trialed the 27 cabin in Finland last year. I'll put a link to that up there. Put some more sea trials down here for you. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can click up here. Thanks for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.